Alright, so I found a good example of a light fixture that hasn't been installed correctly. It's only being held up by one screw. I'll show you guys, and then I'll take it apart and show you how to install it correctly with both screws. Alright, so here you go. As you can see, only one screw on the left here. If it's not flipped, has been installed. More likely that it calls for the bracket that's bigger than the normal box size. You'll see what I'm talking about when I take it apart. Alright, now, so a lot of these light fixtures were installed with flatheads, so it's always good to have flatheads when you're working with electrical, fixtures or outlets or anything like that. I don't bother using a drill when I'm dealing with flatheads because it just slips. It winds up just frustrating me. I'm sure all you guys know what I'm talking about. I usually pull off this insulation so that way I don't wear it. Disconnect the ground, disconnect the hot, disconnect the neutral. As you can see, there's one screw here, and like I said, more likely is because they didn't have the adapter or couldn't figure it out. I'll just show you real quick what I do. Alright, we'll remove this screw so we can install the bracket. This is the bracket here I'm talking about. As you can see, it's got several holes in it, so that way you can adjust for the right light fixture. Alright, so a good way to determine what holes you need in the bracket for the fixture, I already got it set, but is to put one screw in the hole furthest away in the corner. You'll see why. And then just take a guess, line it up, put it in the hole, and then you'll see that it goes in the way it needs to go in. Now here's why I say to put it on the end. Normally, with these slip holes here, you would think, oh, okay, so I can just put it on the ends and it'll go on. But the issue is the electrical box gets in the way. Focus. It might be hard for you to tell, but trust me. So what I do is I'll stick one of those screws, an electrical hole screw box here, and then this one you puncture through the drywall, and you're slotted here is anchored, and then the bracket's going to be held in place by this anchor on the electrical box. Okay, so now we're going to anchor in the bracket through that slip hole into the electrical box anchor. This one's sure, but it'll hold all the weight evenly. It takes a little extra time, but that's the whole point, is to do it right, not half-ass it with one screw. Alright, so once you got that up there, we'll start screwing this one in with my drill. Alright, so then we'll tighten that anchor. Then we'll drop this screw so that way we can put the fixture on. So now we know we can put this light fixture on. We measure the screw holes here, anchor the fixture up. So we know these are gonna be the right size. Now I wanted to show you something. Now if you came in here and updated the light like I'm about to, you technically no longer need this bracket. So then what you do, you just remove this screw here, the one that was furthest away, and then you would just drop this screw here that was anchoring the bracket, so that way you can put the light fixture in. And don't worry about taking the bracket out. The bracket's being held up by that first screw. And the bracket is just a good way to connect your ground. There's an actual screw here for the ground, and not just twisted on the screw that it was before. Okay, so just to give you a better understanding, better visual of what I'm talking about, this is the size of the light fixture now. Get these wires out of the way. What I was talking about was the new light fixtures. The anchor holes on the fixture themselves are shorter apart from each other. So then you would just drop this screw down, drop that screw down, and then you'd be able to put up your new light fixture. Now, this is just where I work. We just have the two different type. So then don't worry about taking the bracket out. As I was saying, you got this screw here for your ground. I tore out the insulation. That's probably what makes it easiest. Especially, you can see the screws right away. You're probably more likely to have installed one screw anyway. You usually just put the wire nuts in here. And as you grab the wires, you connect them and put your wire nuts on. Now this is not an updated light. So I will be keeping the bracket screws wider, since all I did was just repaint this one. I have the light switch off now. You can reassure yourself and turn off the breaker for this strip here, but I know as long as that switch is off, there'll be no power coming through. Take my DeWalt drill, we'll unscrew this ground wire. We'll make sure that both grounds are connected to that screw. Go ahead and get that out of the way. Alright, now we'll stuff these wires. And it's okay if you leave some sagging here, because it does drop down a little bit, give you that extra room. There we go. Alright, all screws are in. Start with the Phillips first. Nice DeWalt drill. So pretty, it's light. I'm not used to the light. So I got my regular old flathead. Tighten that up. We'll put in our new LED light bulbs and test her out.